She just cannot resist. Despite the avalanche of receipts, the mountain of exposed messages, and the digital courtroom full of witnesses to her manipulation, she's throwing herself back on the stage with all the grace of a cat shoving wine glasses off a shelf. Might go live tonight. Might. The only thing more stable than a live schedule is a grasp on accountability. She says she has plans, but we all know what that means. Either she's waiting to gauge how hated she is by sunset, or she's scrambling to make up some narrative that doesn't unravel in 5 minutes. She's testing the waters to see if she holds any power over the room. She doesn't. Instead of reflecting, processing, or heaven forbid, apologizing, she's just dangling the possibility of a live stream like it's some kind of gift. Like we're all supposed to gather round and beg for her half lies and heavy sighs. But people don't want it anymore. We've all seen too much. We all know too much. It's classic Amber saying she has plans. She's just laying the groundwork for non-commitment, and then acting like her presence is a gift we should be grovelling for. I have plans was never a statement of fact. It's just a preemptive excuse. It's a flimsy get-out-of-streaming free card in case the mood's soured or she couldn't find the right shade of manipulation for the night. But she did show up. Not because she had anything to say, not because she wanted to connect, but because she couldn't stand the idea of the conversation continuing without her being a part of it. She shows up in this odd fusion of baby doll drag and gothic cosplay. She looks like a Victorian toddler after 6 Red Bulls. Hair in plaits, choker fastened like it's 2012, and makeup shimmering with desperation. It's not a look, it's just a distraction. It's a costume meant to imply that she did go out, she did have plans, and she's just so busy and booked and not at all spiraling in the bathroom between live streams. If she did leave the house, I promise, someone pity invited her out of guilt or obligation and spent the whole trip praying to be struck by lightning just to make it end. You know whoever she was out with was glancing at their watch every 30 seconds like they were waiting for the hostage negotiator. She's not the kind of person you hang out with. She's the kind you endure. She's terrified of being excluded from this drama that's unfolding, of being forgotten, and of the narrative moving on without her input or corrections. And that's the real tragedy. She isn't streaming to speak, she's streaming to interrupt. But not with accountability, not with truth, just with the same tired costume, the same recycled lines, and the same desperate need to control the conversation that doesn't belong to her anymore. And what is an Amberlynn Reid livestream if it's not a fumbling, glitch-ridden metaphor for her entire existence? It took her 3 attempts. 3 to do a basic task. This is a woman with a decade of YouTube experience, and she still can't click the go live button without summoning chaos. The stream's less content and more chaotic performance art. It's complete with tech issues, crying and drinking. This is only part 1. She's fumbling with her phone, baffled by basic screen orientation, repeating that it's locked and weird. We're beginning, as always, with incompetence. She is a decade into her YouTube career and still can't rotate her phone. 30 seconds in and she's already confused, defeated, and blaming the universe for her inability to operate a basic device. It's a spiritual metaphor, if you will. She announces that she just got home, says it's late, starts cracking open a White Claw, because nothing says mental wellness livestream like an alcohol-infused meltdown at midnight. She claims she's not going crazy, which as always is a red flag disguised as reassurance. She tells us she's just been crying and shows us the makeup and the tears. The mess, the martyrdom. She cries like it's a full-time job, and tonight she's clocking in early. We're meant to see the vulnerability, but all we see is calculated fragility. It's the same script with some new glitter eyeshadow. She Googles how to rotate her stream and still can't figure it out. So this is a woman who can't rotate a live stream but insists she's capable of deep introspection and complex emotional growth. I've seen pigeons navigate YouTube with more clarity. She's turning technical failure into a performance. She's hoping we'll focus on the confusion rather than the big issue that we all want to see her talk about. She then says she had a couple of things she wanted to say, but forgets them immediately. Of course she did. Like every Amber stream, this isn't about saying anything. It's about being seen. She hasn't prepared, she's not reflecting, she's performing. And when the performance cracks, she distracts with a giggle, a sip, and a self-deprecating shrug. She says she hasn't weighed herself in I can't even tell you how long. In translation, she has weighed herself and she knows the number, she just doesn't want to say it, because honesty in Amberland is a last resort. She just dangles vague statements like bait, hoping we'll bite without pressing further. She then says she'll be right back to restart the stream properly. And there it is, a 6-minute loop of fumbling, crying, lying, sipping, googling and vanishing. It's the Amberlynn trifecta: chaos, collapse and a promise to be back. This wasn't a live stream. No plan, no message, just a woman desperate to be perceived, glitching through her own delusion in real time. And we've only just started, because then she's back. Part 2 unfolds not as clarification, but as catastrophe. It's a theatrical blend of vertical camera angles, crocodile tears, and weaponized self-pity. She's still struggling with the screen orientation. She fumbles and sighs and repeats, "It's not working." Still vertical, still confused, still blaming the device and never herself. Her entire life is one long refusal to accept responsibility. Whether it's a phone screen or a failed relationship, her first instinct is just to declare, "It's broken." She never considers the possibility that she's the one doing something wrong. She gets asked why she's crying, and she says, "Because I'm hurting. A lot." No specifics, just pain. Vague, foggy, implied. She weaponizes discomfort like a smoke bomb. If you question her behaviour, she just sobs and asks for space. She doesn't share pain, she deploys it. And then she begins to address the Destiny and Beck drama. She says she's surprised by the support she's receiving, but still feels alone. Support, she claims, is flooding in. It's a curious claim given the backlash. But she needs to construct a reality where she is the wronged party. In her mind, this isn't consequence, it's cruelty. People are finally telling the truth, but they're not survivors, they're bullies. She claims Beck never really loved her, calls Beck one of the biggest manipulators she's ever known. How convenient. Every time an ex speaks out, suddenly they are the manipulator. Amber's Rolodex of revisionist history spins faster than a camera orientation. Beck was a carer, not a conspirator. But now they found their voice, Amber must discredit them, quickly, venomously, and with no regard for the truth we saw. She lashes out at Alexis, accuses her of lying, and then claims they had phone sex. What are we even supposed to do with this? It's vile, it's beneath even her. She's unleashing these moments not to clarify anything, but just to muddy the water so deeply that no truth can rise to the surface. It's not defense, it's deflection by scandal. She starts talking about DBT, says she's excited to learn how to confront accountability. I believe she is excited, but not to confront accountability, but to perform the pursuit. She doesn't change. She announces change, loudly, publicly, repeatedly, so no one notices that she's still exactly the same. She says she hasn't had a drink since January, and the obsession with appearing in control is palpable. "I'm not drunk, I'm not alone, I'm not crying now." Everything's preemptive. She's trying to outrun criticism with words that contradict her own behaviour. She declares she's going to learn how to love herself and that she's so done she can't do relationships anymore. She always says she's done. She always says she'll learn to love herself, but she never does. These aren't revelations, they're rehearsals. She repeats them because they earn her temporary grace. She doesn't mean them. If she did, she'd log off. She speaks about rarity, says she has meltdowns off camera, says she doesn't talk about it because people used her pain for bait. And this is Amber at her most manipulative, accusing the audience of emotional exploitation while live streaming her own breakdowns and monetizing grief. She doesn't protect her pets, she protects her image. And she always makes herself the victim of the pain she causes. Part 2 wasn't a stream, it was emotional graffiti. She tagged every wall with tears, revisionist history, and narcissistic residue. But we see it the same, and we're not looking away because Part 3 is coming right up. Part 3 isn't content, it's collapse. It's just Amber concluding her 3-act tragedy. What started as an awkward display of tech illiteracy just spiraled into a theatre of delusion, deflection, and salami-based despair. By the end of this, she just confirmed what we already knew. She's not unravelling. She's already in tatters. She's managed to fix the camera orientation, which is quite interesting. But then she screams about the font being large. She's thrilled. She's pausing to celebrate the size of the font for some reason. Priorities, structure, dignity, these are all foreign concepts to her. But font size is worth elation. We begin as we mean to go on, overwhelmed by nothing. She lashes out over the pre-cancer discourse again, repeating her stage 1B diagnosis. She's bringing it up again, not for clarity, but for clout. She's treating illness like currency. It's something to flash when a narrative needs cashing in. She weaponizes paperwork, not behaviour. There's a difference between truth and rehearsed medical trivia, and she only knows the latter. Someone in the comments makes a joke about her arm flaps being everywhere, and she responds, "I'm fat, I have big arms, I'm not going to apologise." This isn't body positivity, it's preemptive absolution. She mistakes defiance for empowerment. But Amber, acceptance without accountability isn't healing, it's hiding, and you're buried under excuses. She then decides another game of truth or drink is a good idea. She answers a dozen questions with smug vagueness, evasions, and self-congratulatory chuckles. It's not a Q&A, it's a performance. She flirts with vulnerability but never actually commits. She wants to appear raw while remaining untouched. It's just the illusion of honesty. It's a trick she's mastered, but it's one that no one's falling for anymore. Someone points out that she emotionally cheated on Beck with Destiny, and she replies, "At least I had the decency to do it," or whatever. It's not even a denial, there's no remorse, it's just comparative justification. This isn't emotional intelligence, it's warfare. She believes wrongdoing is erased if someone else is also in the wrong. It's not. Someone asks if she misses Tommy, and then there it is, the pained silence, the pitying nod, the performative ache in the eyes. It's not grief. It's self-infatuation masquerading as reflection. She's not mourning Tommy. She's mourning the relevance the relationship brought her. And even if by some miracle in that moment she was genuine, it's still telling that person after person, year after year, leaves her orbit and never returns. There's no revolving door in her life, only exits. Permanent ones. No one misses Amber, because she gives them nothing to miss. It's just manipulation, guilt, and transactional affection. She hoards people like possessions, and when they reclaim their autonomy, she spirals. It must be devastating to be so widely remembered, but only in bitterness. To be a ghost in the lives of people still very much alive, and unwelcome even in memory. She burps mid-sentence and says she's going to be single forever. She believes martyrdom is a brand. She builds altars to loneliness and lights a match for applause. No one's clapping. We're just enjoying watching the shrine burn. She asks if she should text her ex, and the chat encourages her. It's emotional terrorism in real time. She's weaponizing nostalgia like a live grenade and flinging it toward anyone foolish enough to have loved her. It's manipulation disguised as mourning. She says she's learning the grey area and says we should all learn grey area together. Bitch, we know! Boundaries aren't this hard for most regular people. You're not learning the grey area, you're living in it like a parasite. She doesn't see grey areas, she manufactures them. Boundaries aren't a concept to Amberlynn, they're a threat. Because clear boundaries mean clear consequences. And Amber's entire empire of emotional manipulation crumbles the second someone says no. Most people understand boundaries intuitively, because most people care how others feel. But Amber just treats consent like a doorbell. You just press it until someone answers. And if they don't, she'll keep pressing or break in. People tell her to get off stream and she asks why they don't simply leave. She cannot fathom that people are observing her not out of love, but out of disbelief. Her ego can't process disapproval. She assumes presence equals praise. Amber, people aren't watching because they support you. They're watching because they want to document the wreckage. She eats some salami and says it made her think of someone, and we all know what she meant, and we all know who she's doing this for, and it's just so tacky. A moment of silence for our poor brains having to endure this. And from this point, she's just serenading the audience with a symphony of chewing and heavy breathing and lip smacking and panting. It's awful, it's just a banquet of regret, it's unholy. She's eating her dignity in real time. It's this grotesque performance of gluttony, complete with dead eyes and a salami tribute to the unnamed ghost of a failed romance. She glances at the reflection and gasps, "I look 93 years old, I can't do this anymore." And the mask seems to slip. For one instant, the ego disintegrates, not because of the behaviour, not because of the people she's hurt, but because her own vanity turned on her. She doesn't fear consequences, she just fears looking bad. And then the tears start, and she starts rambling on and on and on about mental health. She says, "I love you guys, even the ones who hate me, maybe one day we can see eye to eye." Amber, we should be seeing eye to eye. You're just looking in the wrong direction. The people you call haters are often survivors. People you've trampled, tricked, and tried to erase. You don't want understanding. You want forgiveness without atonement. Part 3 wasn't just a stream, it was an ending, not of a channel or her online presence, but of the illusion that Amberlynn Reid is misunderstood. She's understood perfectly. We watched, we listened, and we remember, and now her audience is responding accordingly. This 3-part live stream extravaganza wasn't a cry for help, it was a cry for attention. Just rambling, crying, salami-consuming, and manufactured self-pity. She's just revealing everything she's trying to conceal. Every moment of sad girl theatre was choreographed. Every tremble of the voice, every dramatic pause, every "I'm done." She's not done, she's baiting. She's treating empathy like currency. She'll cry, manipulate, weaponize her trauma, but never resolve it. Because healing means losing the power of pity. And pity's the only connection she thinks she has left. She's still talking about DBT, and she's using the right words. But the words are cheap, especially when they're spoken between burps, drinks, and lies. She says she wants to learn about grey areas, but the truth is she thrives in the murk. It protects her. It lets her reframe criticism as cruelty and cruelty as oppression. It's a fog she cultivates to confuse, misdirect, and deflect. I think the worst thing of all is how alone she seems to be. But she's pushed away so many people, and is still missed by none of them. She weeps over the ghosts of relationships past, yet each one fled and never returned. The number of people who want nothing to do with her is alarming, but she never asks why. She only wonders why they won't answer her texts. To be known so well by so many, and loved by none. It's not a curse, Amber, it's a consequence. These streams weren't content, they were evidence. Evidence of a woman who won't change, won't reflect, and refuses to release the spotlight even as it burns her alive. She's not a phoenix, she's kindling, and she sets the match herself.